they took you for granted. They took this collective for granted. So welcome, I'm Richard, aka the Urban Warlock of Urban Warlock Healing, and I'm going to be doing a targeted individuals psychic and potentially combined tarot reading. So if you're a TI, stick around. This might be useful for you. It might be for you. You can book personal readings with me. Just drop down to the video description. Find the Beacons AI link there. Video chat from 25. Same day recorded from 10. Okay. So they've taken you for granted. Now, bottom of the deck, I've got the Two of Pentacles, Lord of Harmonious Change. And then behind that, Seven of Cups in the reverse position, Lord of Illusionary Success. And then we've got the Knight of Pentacles, my old friend in the reverse, Lord of the Wild and Fertile Lands, okay, followed up by the Star card, the Daughter of the Firmament. So yeah, what this feels like is, this feels like somebody, probably not in your energy anymore, to be honest with you. They had an opportunity to gain something by being in your presence, and they took it for granted. And what started to happen here is the shift has taken place. Now, what I believe happens is that you're kind of going through your life. You start to realise your divinity. You start to realise that there's more to you. There's more to all of this. You've been lied to, etc., etc., etc. And depending on who you are. So case in point, for myself, for example, I sometimes call myself the activator of karma. It's not that I am karma. It's that Source deliberately places me in situations and environments whereby I'm a test. I'm not doing anything. I'm just getting on with what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm used as a test. Do you support that person? Or do you try and get out of them what you can do? Do you try and take them down? Do you try and take over their position? And that's the test. And it feels like somebody who's been kind of tested in this sense, and they've failed. They've failed miserably. They've gone up against you, the collective, touch not my anointed and all that, and they've failed. And I think for a period of time here, they thought they got away with it, and they've thought that there's more to them. They've thought that, you know, that they'll be disappointed that they haven't taken you out, that you're still here, you're still standing, you're still thriving, and you're still strong. But I think that for a period of time, they've kind of poo-pooed it. So basically, I think that there's been a shift and a change. I think this has probably already happened. I think with the collective that I'm reading for now, your abundance is actually starting to fall into place, and that's the harmonious change. With the Seven of Cups in the reverse position, the Lord of Illusionary Success, I think that, much like myself, for a period of time, so the best way I can describe it with my work is that I went through these kind of stop-start periods where it was like the tap had been switched on. Oh, I'm actually getting some work. Oh, no, it's off again. Frustration. And I feel like, you know, when it kind of steadied and leveled out, there was this kind of air, this energy of, oh, well, this is it, I've made it, you know what I mean? But the reality is there's so much more there, and there's so much more yet to come for you, the collective. So that illusion of what you previously thought was success is dropping away. I think kind of a bit twofold here, because we've got the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse there as well. This person's illusion of their own grandeur and success is starting to fall away. It's evaporating, it's disappeared, and they're starting to realise that you're the star, not them. You're the star. You're the one that's put in the hard work. You're the one who's done things that you didn't want to do but had to do for the greater collective, and they're not. They're just some bottom feeder. They're somebody who was tested. Now, I feel like this person potentially originally had some kind of strength or abilities or something along those lines, and that's kind of starting to fall apart, because they've basically abused their quote unquote powers for their own gain. I think that this person's also a liar. I think this person's lied a lot about who they are, what they do, where they've come from, but they thought they could basically lie, steal, and cheat their way to your crown, to your star card. Well, that ain't happening. It's destined that this collective is supposed to be the star. It's supposed to be the star of the show. They're regretting the decision because it's starting to dawn on them. So despite the ego that this person has, it's kind of finally starting to dawn on them that they failed the test. Because despite the arrogance and despite the lies, I'll call them little white lies, but it's more kind of human-based morality. They're starting to realise that they've been tested and they've failed. And I want to say that they're starting to panic. They're starting to panic because it's almost like they can feel that darkness within them take over, you know. So let's just touch on morality. So the way I see it is, there's some of us here who have a kind of, let's call it an ethereal morality. And what I mean by that is things are very black and white. It's either right or it's wrong. Now, as I always say, you can kind of twist or spin the narrative or the rules slightly, provided it's in regard to saving yourself in some way, or saving somebody else in some way. Now, it's not about lying, but it's about kind of spinning the narrative, okay? Most people here have a human-based morality. And that human-based morality is based on things like government policy, religious doctrine, community standards, etc., etc. But it's also very corrupt. And it can be changed. And the example I used the other day in a reading is that, you know, if you take the age of consent, for example, the age of consent in different countries is different ages. So let's say, for argument's sake, you went to a country and the age of consent was something ridiculous, like 12. And you've got this middle-aged man, and he's marrying a 12-year-old and sleeping with them. And he'd say, well, yeah, but morally I'm not doing anything wrong, am I? It's within the law. You know, and you know, but from an ethereal standpoint, and hopefully most of you will agree with this, it's fucking sick. It's wrong. It's wrong. There's no right or, you know. Yeah. So this person comes from more of a human-based morality, and I think that they're starting to see that, because I think that they were taken over. They were taken over by an energy. They were. It's the classic thing that you know, these talking monkeys get tested, and you know, it's like, you know, they get approached and it's like, oh, you know, if you join us or if you do this practice, whatever, then we, you know, we promise you protection and power and glory and fame, and they do it. They go for it. They don't say, no, thank you very much, actually, that's wrong, and I'm going to do it my own way. I think this person has narcissistic tendencies. I don't want to say they're a narcissist, because they certainly wouldn't be showing any kind of remorse. I think that, yeah, I was going to say they might have been triggered into narcissism, but I think it's more narcissistic tendencies. They've got a very sulky energy to them, like a sulky teenager type energy to them. Right, so Hermit, Magus of the Voice of Light, and then we've got Six of Pentacles, Lord of Material Success. Two of Swords, Lord of Peace Restored. Okay, so this is you. So what I'm always drawn to on the Hermit card in this deck is how the Hermit's kind of tickling the belly of the snake. It's you know, it's this is you kind of having to snake charm your way through life, basically, as these creepy crawlers come in. So you manage to find a way to tickle the belly of the snake, and that's leading to your material success. Now, it's interesting because I can't remember the phrase, but I had a TikTok come up the other day, and I was watching it because it was along the lines of, as many of us know, the phrase "blood is thicker than water" has been adapted from the full phrase of "the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb." And what that basically means is that the people you choose to be with, or your soul tribe, for example, they are more important than the people you get squeezed out of and told are your family, you know. But obviously that's been adapted because the narrative is that you should stay in these family dynamics that are toxic and horrible and evil, because they're family. And there's also one about money, apparently. It's the one about the money is the root of all evil, and I can't remember what the full phrase was, but it's basically the money is the root of all evil, when it is just about kind of greed, basically. And again, that's been kind of adapted, and you know, you think about it in like a religious or a spiritual sense. You've got all these people kind of running around saying it's not just about money, money's evil, you know, you should be doing your gifts and your skills for free, or in the case of religion, you know, you should give all your money to charity or the church, you know. And it's no, you know, money is nothing more than energy. It's an energy exchange, and the way I see it, and the way I've seen it since day dot, is that you should, you know, if you're a reader, for example, you should charge for your readings. It's your time. As I say with my readings, you book a session, you're paying me for my time. You know, ironically, with the recorded readings, you're paying for that reading because I can't fit them into a specific time scale. With the sessions, you're paying me for my time. You know, that's what you're paying me for. So it's fucking horn going off in the background. Yeah, so don't feel bad about hitting some material success. If you've been working your arse off and you want to spend that money on something nice, sorry, if other people are struggling, it's not your fault. They should work harder. Simple as that. So, yeah, you're going on to better things. You're going on to bigger things. And like I say, you've somehow managed to tame the belly, tickle the belly of the snake to bring this around. Right, I'm being told that this person, this Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, they're really gonna be kicking and screaming when they see what's coming for you next. So I don't want you, the collective, to feel like, you know, this is it, this is your abundance, and you know, you just be grateful for it. You know, I'm extremely grateful for the work I'm finally getting, but it feels like there's going to be more. There's going to be something else. Okay. I'm not necessarily going to say it's going to be overt, but it's that classic thing of, you know, if I win the lottery, I'm not going to tell anybody, but there's going to be signs. And I feel like whatever this success is for this collective, there will be signs, and the rumour mill will basically start. The rumour mill will kick in, and they're going to hear about it, and they're going to be. I've got the taste of vomit at the back of my throat. It's almost like this news of something that's going to indicate your abundance or success is going to be that much for this person that it's almost like they're going to vomit in their own mouth because of the rage and the jealousy that they have, but also the bitterness they have for the fact that they could have been part of this and they've blown it, basically. So, Knight of Cups, Lord of the Waves and the Waters, Death card, Child of the Great Transformers. What this feels like is with the Knight of Cups there, because the Knight of Cups is coming in and offering the cup. I think that basically what this is saying is that because you're hitting your stride with your success, there is going to be people coming in that kind of like creepy crawly, oh, you take the person who wins the lottery and all of a sudden there's somebody at the door going, oh, hello, I'm your, second cousin removed. I know we've never met, but we were in the area and I thought, why not drop in and, oh, by the way, I need some money, blah, 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 blah. It's that kind of energy. I don't want this collective to worry about it because the death card's getting activated, and I feel like this is about saying that these people who have and will continue to try and come in to try and get something out of you, they're just automatically going to get removed. So you don't need to kind of overly worry about that side of things. Do you want to go for those? No. Okay. What's that? Two of Cups in the reverse. I don't feel it's in regard to love life. I think it could be this other person. I think this other person might start having issues within their connections. Ace of Pentacles, Lord of the Root of the Powers of Earth. I want to say the more that you kind of become more and more connected and more grounded and rooted in who you are and who you're supposed to be, I think it's almost going to kind of ramp up the karma that these people or this person in particular is receiving. Six of Wands, Lord of Victory. You know, the victory is already yours. It was always yours because it was predestined. Okay. Let's get the urban truth. Have a quick go with these. See what's cracking off. Right, choose a softer life, peace over pressure, gentleness over chaos. Your life can feel lighter. Attachment issues. Holding on too tightly creates fear. Insecurities makes the bond unstable. Love feels heavy instead of free. She said what? A shocking comment spreads instantly. Reactions explode. Expect emotional aftershock. Bestie tea time. Your friend knows the real story. Information connects behind the scenes. Truth enters through the bestie channel. And then we've got drama storm. Chaos hits at once. Emotions rise quickly. Stay grounded in the noise. So yeah, this kind of feels like it's backing up what I was saying. So you're supposed to be going on to your kind of peaceful, abundant era. So choose that. Attachment issues. I think that this is in regard to this person who's watching you, monitoring, stuff like that. They just can't seem to let it go at the moment. Now they're going to say something. They're going to say something that's quite shocking. It's like they're going to accuse you of something, or you know, when we talk about success, it would be like, you know, in my case, for example, I've picked up an awful lot of new followers, which I'm extremely grateful for. And I've got no doubt in my mind that there's people out there in the industry that I'm in saying he's bought them. He's bought those followers. I haven't. I just do lots of content and hit a good algorithm. Yeah, so it could be something along the lines of like they're saying something like, oh, the collective just bought their way, they've sold their soul. Bullshit. And you're going to hear about this. Now, there is going to be a drama storm from this brewing. I kind of feel like with the choose a softer life, I don't feel like your friend's going to deliberately try and kind of pull you into this as such. But yeah, just be careful, because they're just coming with you with the information, and it feels a little bit like the whole setup is kind of designed to pull you back into some old kind of energy and kind of like, you know, feel like you need to say your piece and justify yourself and stuff like that. And you don't need to. You really don't need to. So I'm just going to do one more row, and then I'm going to switch to the to tarot and see what that has to say. Got any more messages for us, please, Urban Truth? So yeah, don't forget to subscribe whilst you're here if you can, please, people. I am trying to hit the 4,000 watch hours before they up it to 8,000 in February. So please hop across to my YouTube collective playlist, because I've got the longer format ones on there. If you could watch a couple through for me, please, even if it's just in the background whilst you're washing your pots, etc. They average between about 20 and 45 minutes. So, you know, if you can just watch a couple for me, engage in them, that'd be very much appreciated. Right, so passive shade. Subtle tone reveals hidden resentment. The real message is between the lines. Shade speaks loudly. We then got you're not obligated. You don't owe anyone your time. You're free to choose differently. Your boundaries deserve respect. Okay. Too good to be true. Something feels overly perfect. Intuition senses a hidden truth. Look beneath the charm. And then we've got new skills activated. You're learning fast, your talents are expanding, your growth changes everything. Okay, so yeah, what this feels like is I want to kind of tie it into that last row there. You know, there's going to be, I think what's going to happen here is I think that you're not going to initially get pulled into it. So there's going to be a bit of passive shade, and you're and you're not obligated to, you know, I think as part of that, there's going to be people coming in kind of asking for your help. Because it's almost like they're seeing this person as they really are. So it's almost like they're wanting to jump ship, and you're not obligated to help them. Because anybody who comes in with some kind of quid pro quo, as they call it, it's not going to be good enough, you know, and you're supposed to be activating new skills. You're supposed to be going on to new levels. So let's go on to the tarot. So I'm going to do the tarot section as a standard targeted individuals tarot. So 8 cards per spread. What's going off in the background, what's going to play out. If you want to target individuals tarot reading, the 25 quid, same day guaranteed recorded. If you just hop down to the video description, Beacons AI, it's in the standard recorded tarot list, because I've got 2. You got the premium ones with the fully loaded, and then just below that you got the psychic readings. I do a targeted individual psychic readings, 10 minutes long. I use the Hermetics and the Urban Truth. They're 15 quid. Okay, right. Right, let's have a look. Right, 6 cups. So this is what's going off in the background. What's the intention? Judgment. Devil card. Right, so it's kind of clarifying and backing up what I was just saying there in the first part. So 6 cups, cups, water, emotions. A bit hard to see on this deck, but you got one character giving the other cup of flowers. So it talks about equal give and take, emotional stability. I feel like this is you. Judgment. Okay, so you're being judged worthy of more. Okay, so it's almost like you found this balance, this peace. You're being judged worthy of more. You're starting to judge yourself worthy of more, of going on to more. Okay. Meanwhile, Devil card. Okay. Devil card for me normally talks about either leaning on toxic crutches and vices, being chained to some kind of toxic karmic energy connection person. We've got the Adam and Eve figure from the Lovers card. I think this is this person being consumed by this devil energy, basically. Okay. And it's being fed by this jealousy. This person is extremely jealous of your success. Magician in the reverse. Hierophant in the reverse. So Magician in the reverse. Right, so I feel like this person is trying to manifest or use some kind of dark energy to try and stop you, but it's getting blocked. It's not working, right? Hierophant in the reverse. So the Hierophant's one of the divine masculines. Is divine masculine on a more spiritual based level. Relates to my star sign of Taurus, so I can talk about sticking some kind of tradition, breaking away from that. I feel it's more, because this can talk about being on a spiritual path, spiritual journey. It's in the reverse position. I kind of feel, I want to say that they're going, I think they have done for some time, but I think they're going against the morals, ethics and codes set out as part of being on a spiritual path. Overall outcome card, so that's being blocked. 5 of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so we call this the fight or fallout card. It can talk about frustration. I think they are starting to give up on the fight. I'm not going to say that they're not going to keep monitoring you, but I think they're giving up on the fight against you. The irony of it is, you're not even really in a fight. You haven't had to do anything, you know. Obstacles or blockages. 7 of Cups in the reverse. Okay, so the obstacle or blockage for you in this moment in time is feeling like you're not going to get that abundance. Okay, so you're the figure there. That's a big cloud. Out of the cloud, 7 cups. Out of every cup, there's something different. It talks about abundance of opportunities on an emotional level. Okay, removing any blockages. 8 of Cups. Right, so Cups, water, emotions. You're the figure there walking away, leaving the 8 cups behind. So it's time to start emotionally disconnecting from this person and this situation. Okay, because it's just gonna stop you from getting your 7 of Cups energy. Okay, so spread 2, this is going to be based over the next 6 months. Tend to find it goes chronological. Just to remind you, with divination tarot, it's designed to say on your current path this is the most likely outcome. Excuse me, there are a couple of fixed cards in there. By that I mean the universe says it's got to happen, no way around it, but for the most part it's not. So in the event anything does come up and you don't like the sound of it, you can change it. Okay, you have free will and choice, and that's the aim of the game. Okay, so let's see what the divination row has to give us. Right, Knight of Swords, 3 of Cups, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Right, so swords there where we think words we use. Court cards can be an energy within ourselves or somebody else. Knights don't have the knowledge or experience of the kings and the queens, more so than the pages, but they're more about forward motion. This knight talks about either expressing ourselves or, in this case, news coming in fast. I think there's going to be some news coming in. Three of Cups. So this is a celebration card. I call it the sisterhood card. It's three ladies dancing around with cups in the air. That can be actual sisters, female friends, friends with higher feminine energies. Witchcraft terms talk about coven power of 3. I think this is in regard to that kind of bestie channel information. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. So the Ace of Pentacles is about going, right, long term, what am I investing in here? Where am I putting my time, my effort, my energy? It can indicate going on to bigger things, because we've got a nice garden down here. That's an archway. Beyond the archway is a mountain. So it's in the reverse position. So we're not assessing what we're investing in next, or we're not aiming higher. Or it might just be that we decide we're not going to invest in this situation anymore. Five of Wands. Nine of Cups. Right, so, yeah, I think, right, so, tying it into the urban truth a bit there, I think that there's going to be some news that comes in any second now via the bestie channel. Have you heard? This is what they've said, blah, 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 blah. And you're going to listen to it, but then you're going to go, do you know what, I'm not investing anymore in this. Five of Wands, this is going to cause this person immense frustration, okay? Nine of Cups, so I'm going to assume this is you, sat on the bench, proudly presenting the 9 cups. Now, as I always say with this card, for me, it's very, 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 very rare that we're talking about hitting some kind of emotional abundance. It's normally when stuff's gone wrong, people have let us down. It's about reflecting back and going, do you know what? I turned up, I showed up, I put the effort, and if they can't see that come sideways, they can watch me rise. So I think this is about you accepting that you've given everything that you can do to this situation. Let the little toddler get frustrated and burn themselves out. Right. Overall outcome card. Seven of Wands. Right, I think this is them, because this is about standing your ground. I think this person is going to continue to stand on top of that hill, trying to knock you off, or waiting to knock you off, but you're not there anymore. You've gone onto a bigger hill. You've gone onto a mountain. Okay. Obstacles or blockages. Temperance in the reverse. So the Temperance card for me is the alignment card. It's when our mind, body, soul's all in alignment. We know who we are, what we want, where we're going. You'll also notice the angels pouring into her own cup, hopefully. It talks about periods of self-love, self-care, self-healing. It's in the reverse position. It's if you allow this situation, this news, to throw you out of alignment. Removing any blockages. Eight of Pentacles. So we call this guy the apprentice. You're the chap on the bench banging away at the pentacle. He knows he's not a master of his skill yet, but he's happy to go through that process. Not got that far to go. It's an 8, just needs to get to 10. I think this is just saying crack on with what you're doing. So yeah, you're gonna be fine. It's just about keeping a level head and keeping yourself steady when this news comes in, basically, because it's designed to pull you back into some kind of fight, in some kind of lower energy, and I don't think you're going to invest in it. I think you're going to go, do you know what, I've given everything that I can do to this situation. If they want to keep, continuing to argue with themselves, let them do it. Let them do it. Let them get all wound up. Let them kind of go, no, I'm standing my ground. Well, great. What are you standing your ground with? Because the collectives proved the point and effed off that direction. So, yeah, you're going to be perfectly fine. So, yeah, like I say, if you want a reading, like I say, the tarot section is 25. The psychic section goes up to 10 minutes. I might introduce a kind of double one, to be honest with you, a bit like I've done with the Ultimate Fully Loaded, but not obviously have it at that price. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I might have a section for the targeted individuals, keep it separate. Yeah, so there you go. I hope that helped. Yeah, stay safe out there. You're going to be perfectly fine, and if you need any help, you know where I am. Ta-ta.